PC, back again. I grabbed some stuff that was on top of my shelf here, that some of the latest stuff I've got, and then maybe what I'm listening to, but maybe mostly stuff that I've recently gotten. Book recommendation. Well, I'm reading Dostoevsky, The Possessed. It's the one Dostoevsky book I have not read, and I love all his other stuff. So just started digging into this. Interesting so far. This is Mahler. Finale to the 6th. We'll turn it down. But that's from the Bernstein box set, I think from the late 60s, in Columbia. New York Philharmonic, I think. They did the collection of Mahler symphonies. This one has 1, 6, and 9 on it. And these are nice sounding pieces, and of course Bernstein and Mahler are match made in heaven. So great performance, but also really nice sound. I like the sound of these old Columbias. A lot of people talk about the RCAs and the Mercurys, and they're great, but the Columbias can be great too. Just picked this up yesterday, actually. Early Wes Montgomery, if not his first trio album. I'm not sure. It's on Riverside and it's in stereo. This is a reissue, but I'll tell you what, I've gotten a couple Riverside reissues, and they sound great. And this one sounds really good too. I don't know if it's a digital file or not. It probably was, but it's such a good recording that it has such great space and depth in the room. This was very early on in stereo, and I think some of that stuff sounds the best because they were really trying to make it sound like a live event. And later we got into more like studio trickery. Well, that's great too, but it's different. And sometimes when you're listening to jazz, or acoustic instruments, it's so nice to think you're there. And this is that kind of recording, and it's great. I mean, I have several Wes Montgomery albums, and I like almost all of them. So this is no exception. It's got Around Midnight on it, and some other stuff, Sad and Doll. Don't know. It's got an organ on it. Melvin Ryan playing the organ. Paul Parker on drums. No bass. The organ does the bass. It gets pretty low sometimes, so check the bottom of your speaker system. By the way, a little side note before I go any further is I've recently ordered a power conditioner, an Isotech Sirius power conditioner from Upscale Audio. I had seen one of Kevin there, his videos on the Polaris and on an Audio Quest one, and sort of convinced me to at least give it a try. I had a real cheap old one in the system before, and when I took it out, I think things improved, so I was a little dubious, but I've also read that if you get a cheaper power conditioner and if it's not really doing a great job, it can sap the dynamics out of your system by really filtering too much. So this was a kind of a pricey piece. So I'm hoping that it doesn't fall prey to the same thing, but I'll see. If I don't like it, it's going back. But I do need some quality surge protection too for what is now mounting up to some expensive equipment. Anyway, moving on. I'll keep you posted on how that goes, what I think about that whole experience. Here's one. Look at this. Great cover. It's Night on Bald Mountain by Fire Ballet. Never heard of these guys. This is a really neat sounding record. It says it's mastered by Ludwig with Sterling Sound. So that should give you some confidence. And this is right in the heart of 75 on Passport Records. who did like Anthony Phillips from Genesis, and we were just going over it. A couple other pretty big acts. Um, I like this right away. I love this progressive stuff, like right in the mid '70s when things were just way out there, and they were doing anything they could before punk killed it all. And I love punk, but I also love this stuff too. So I really just love how like far out they got, and sidelong suites and the whole 9 yards, and this crazy stupid lyrics. I just love it all. And this is really good. It says it's produced by Ian McDonald. Ian McDonald, King Crimson? I'm not sure. I can't remember which McDonald that is. But that name sounds damn familiar. But anyway, probably, you're not going to see a lot of this. But if you're a prog fan, especially if you like British prog, that sort of thing, from the 70s. I don't think these guys are British, but that's what they're going after. I don't know. They might be. But I really like it. Picked this up yesterday too. Lovin' Spoonful, first album on Kama Sutra. I figured better have it. It's a mono recording, probably as it should be. It's got Do You Believe in Magic and You Ever Had to Make Up Your Mind, which are great songs. I mean, you could probably do with the greatest hits, which is great, but I don't know. This is, I believe, it's at least an early pressing, if not an original, and I just had to. I couldn't pass it up. So there's that. Here's one I haven't heard in years. I must have had this on CD or something back in the 90s, because I put this on and it all sounded very familiar. I've been wanting to get this, and I guess it's been either reissued or issued for the first time, because this was like 92, 91, 92, and they weren't doing a lot of albums back then, so they may not have even cut this on an LP previously. Sounds good. It's not great. I mean, it's like if you listen to Our Time in Eden. No, this is Our Time in Eden. You listen to oh darn it, what's the other big album with Jack Kerouac on it, and if you're a fan, you know what I'm talking about. It's escaping me right now. That album sounds amazing, and it's that's before everything went pretty digital. I'm guessing this is digital, and it's good. It's nice, but nothing in the same league as that other one in terms of sound, which was a few years before, from the late '80s. But this is a great album. I mean, I just listened to side 1 yesterday. I didn't get to the side 2, but every song is, oh, this is so great. So I'm really glad I got this. I can't wait to dig further into it, because it'll bring back some memories. Here's one, Jon Stewart, who, I don't know, am I reading he used to be in the Kingston Trio? I didn't get the full 9 yards on this guy, but I think that's his story. And this is a album sort of co-produced by Lindsey Buckingham, and Lindsey is all over this record. You can hear it. This is right in the heart of right after Fleetwood Mac was huge, late '70s, '79 maybe. Stevie Nicks is on the unmistakably on a couple tracks, including Gold, which was the big hit off this album, which I'm sure you've heard if you lived through the late '70s. Really good song, but I'll tell you, this album is terrific. This is another one of those like late '70s gems of just good pop music, maybe a little with a countryish twang to it, but not much, with a real sort of California meets the South meets Lindsey Buckingham meets, I don't know, but I really, really recommend this album to fans of that period. Just good pop music from the '70s, and really interesting too. Not just simple stuff. A couple things that are really, poignant. So, really, really recommend this. I got this, hearing it at my local record store, Reimagine Records. Was very impressed, so I figured I'd take a shot at Robert Plant's new album. There's some cover art for you. And it's really got a neat sound to it. That's not to say it sounds good, because it sounds okay. It's in terms of sonics, it's a decent sounding record, but it's a cool sounding record in terms of production, if you know what I mean. If you've heard of the stuff he did with T-Bone Burnett, I think he's influenced, because Plant produced this. I think he was kind of influenced by that, and that's neat. And really good songs. He's really on fire songwriting. So this I gotta recommend too. This sounded really good. I only listened to it fully through once, and then hearing pieces at the store. But I really, really like what I've heard so far. Okay, pick this up. Now I should pull out. I've got a couple other of these. I've got a mono 6i first pressing of this, which is a treasured thing, and which sounds amazing for a mono record. But I saw the guy at the In Groove on YouTube, his record store in Phoenix or in Arizona somewhere, and he was going through various pressings and comparing them, and his channel's really cool. I hope he does more, because he's really great with this stuff. But he was really recommending this, the 45 RPM Analog Productions stereo version of Time Out, which probably everybody already has. But wow, this is amazing. I mean, just simply amazing. You're talking about room presence, you're talking about harmonics, you're talking about everything is crystal clear. The bass, the drums, the sax, I mean, and the harmonics on the piano. It's all there. This is just astoundingly good. It's pricey, maybe it was $40-50, I can't remember, but well worth it. Now the mono is great too. The original mono is great. A different experience, but I'm glad I have both. But this, if you're going to pick one, you haven't got this on vinyl yet, and you're going to pick one, and you can spend the dough, this is the one to get. I've also got another pressing, which I think is on some other label. I think it's an import, actually. And it's decent, but it's not great. This is another reissue, Howlin' Wolf, Real Folk Blues. This actually sounds pretty damn good too. I was surprised, actually, and it's been a little while since I listened to this, but I think this is in stereo too. I'm pretty sure it is, actually, which surprised me too. I did not think it was. It does not sound like electronically processed stereo either. It sounds like real stereo, produced by Marshall Chess, of course. And this is just a great collection of Howlin' Wolf songs. If you know Howlin' Wolf at all, well, you probably know this. And if you don't, this might be a good place to start. There's also the other one, Moanin' at Moonlight. I can't remember. No, the one with the chair on the cover. That's really good too. I'd have to go dig it out, but anyway, this is a good place to start in a affordable reissue, which sounds really good. Real Folk Blues by Howlin' Wolf. Rounding it out, a couple albums which, I had this when it first came out. I bought it, and I couldn't find it. I'm like, where's my Combat Rock? Not my favorite Clash album, but it's good stuff on there anyway. I wanted to have it, so I couldn't find it, so I went back and I saw it at the local store, got it in with this, which I've never had on vinyl either, which, has one of my favorite songs, if not my favorite Clash song. It's up there. It's Safe European Home, which if you don't know, how would you know? I play in a punk band, not very often, but once in a while. We're called the Pasantics, Rialda and the Pasantics. It's my wife is Rialda. And we do Safe European Home. It's one of my favorite songs to play because it's so damn intense. And this sound just rocks like there's no tomorrow. And, you know, they were kind of accused of selling out on this record because I think they went with, what was the guy, Perlman? Sandy Perlman, who had produced, I'm going to say, Blue Oyster Cult. Maybe had a hit with them or something. So I think they were seen as, like, having sold out. You know, and then we did London Calling. It was like, you know, they had totally betrayed the original punk ethos. But, of course, in a real way, they'd also got more musically sophisticated and better to a certain extent. So, although, you know, there is nothing like that first album. But, hey, they all can live together. You can love all of them, can't you? You can love London Calling, you can love the first album. This one, you can like it, it's good. But I know I've never gotten Cut the Crap either. I've heard that's horrible. I've never even heard it. And I'm just almost afraid to listen to it. I'd rather not spoil my... Sandinista's okay, but a little overblown, obviously, but for my taste. But I've avoided Cut the Crap. So this is about as far as I go with the Clash. That rounds out my Clash collection until I start collecting the UK ones, I guess. But that's all I've got for today. See you next time. I'll let you know how the power conditioning goes, if it's worth it or not for me. See you later.